Friend, I'm going to play one more clip from President Obama, the false prophet, as he defends the false prophet. Listen to this clip.
Here's what else we cannot do. We cannot turn against one another by letting this fight be defined as a war between America and Islam. That, too, is what groups like ISIL want. ISIL does not speak for Islam. They are thugs and killers, part of a cult of death. And they account for a tiny fraction of more than 1 billion Muslims around the world, including millions of patriotic Muslim Americans who reject their hateful ideology. Moreover, the vast majority of terrorist victims around the world are Muslim. If we're to succeed in defeating terrorism, we must enlist Muslim communities as some of our strongest allies, rather than push them away through suspicion and hate.
All right, first of all, ISIL does represent Islam. ISIL does, in fact, speak for Islam. I want to invite you to go and read portions of their magazines. They've had 12 issues come out, if my memory is correct. Dabiq, okay? Go and see for yourself. See how, not just quoting the Quran, see how they don't just quote the Quran, but they quote the biographies on Muhammad's life. They quote the Hadith extensively. So when he says they're not Muslims, they're thugs, they're killers, they're part of murderers, part of a cult of death. I'm sorry, but that is what the foundation of Islam was built on. Muhammad killed with his own hand. Muhammad had his own sex slaves. Muhammad distributed innocent women and little girls as sex slaves to his men. So did Abu Bakr, so did Umar, so did Ali, his son-in-law. This is Islam. If Muhammad and his men were around today and then were captured, if they were in charge of a nation, they would be tried as criminals of war. They'd be tried for war crimes. Muhammad and his men would. And what's really amazing to me is all of this stuff is right there. You can buy the book by Ibn Ishaq, The Life of Muhammad. You can read it. It's all right there. That's the most prominent gold standard biography on Muhammad's life. It's all right there. And the last thing is he said there are millions of Muslims in America who reject this hateful ideology. Well, maybe there are, but there's a lot that aren't. That poll that was done just recently of Muslim Americans, 50% of them said they'd rather be under Sharia law. That's a hateful ideology, people. 20% of them said it would be ethically okay to use terror, jihad, to overthrow the U.S. Constitution. He's delusional. He is a false prophet defending a false prophet. And we need to wake up.